When people hear the phrase, I have a dream, everyone knows who that speech was given by, but many people don't know what motives and influences encouraged Martin Luther King Jr. to speak out against racial discrimination. Today, we will be awarding Martin Luther King Jr. with the Lifetime Achievement in Social Justice because of his fearless character and social impact. Martin Luther King Jr. is worthy of receiving this award due to his contributions in the civil rights movement, along with many other involvements. We will go through his biography, legacy, and credentials that prove he deserves this achievement award. Who was Martin Luther King Jr. really? Well, Martin Luther King came from a well-off middle-class family. He came from a line of preachers. His father was a preacher, and so was his grandfather. All of his family was well-educated and college graduates, along with his wife and his mother. His family's education and success sadly did not prevent them from receiving prejudice and discrimination, although they were respectable people, and they did have, they were very formal as well. At only 15 years old, King attended college at Morehouse College. In his time away from the South, he recognized just the lack of discrimination and mistreatment that was prevalent in the South. This revelation actually encouraged him to speak out more about racism. And then after his seminary studies were completed, he got more involved in just the community and in the civil rights movements to vocalize his views on social issues that were prevalent in the Southern community specifically. In 1955, he joined Rosa Parks in the Montgomery bus boycott to protest against the segregation happening in the transportation world. During this protest, all Black people would just walk instead of using bus or any kind of transportation, just to get their message across to the government and to the white people. This boycott ended up being very effective because the transportation industry was not making any profit anymore, and then it led the white Americans to desegregate all transportation. Next, he gave the well-known I Have a Dream speech, and in this speech, he shares his vision of the future. He condemned the discrimination of Blacks in America and dreamed that his children would never have to endure any kind of mistreatment. This speech was so beautifully executed and delicately written about his goals. He was able to change the hearts and minds of many Americans so much that it led them to speak out against the racism themselves. And then King ended up having many supporters behind him, which then led to the Civil Rights Act in 1964, which was passed by Lyndon B. Johnson. This was all due to MLK's powerful and bold character. And now that we have an idea of King's upbringing and who he was, we're going to look into more of his character and his legacy and why he deserves this award.
As we go beyond the historical events of Dr. King's life, we start to see that Martin Luther King Jr.'s genuine strength stemmed not only from his accomplishments, but also from the character that drove all of his actions. His leadership was based on a solid moral base of bravery, faith, and nonviolence. Dr. King's leadership was based on his nonviolent philosophy. Motivated by Christian faith and Mahatma Gandhi's ideas, he thought that the only way to bring about long-lasting societal change was by nonviolent resistance. King showed controlled restraint in the face of injustice rather than anger or fury. He advocated for the idea that compassion and justice were stronger than violence. This dedication required a great deal of emotional fortitude. Despite being detained, intimidated, and constantly in danger, Dr. King persisted in his nonviolent protests. Scholars stress that it took great moral strength to remain nonviolent in such situations. Therefore, rather than being only political, his leadership was profoundly moral and spiritual. King demonstrated by his persona that genuine leadership is characterized not only by achievement, but also by the values that underpin it. Because of this moral basis, people trusted Dr. King rather than just following him. King had a special gift for igniting hope in the face of national divide. Instead of promoting conflict, his remarks focused on common American principles like justice, equality, and dignity. According to civil rights experts, his empathy made it possible for people of different social, religious, and racial origins to see themselves as belonging to a single, cohesive moral movement. King was characterized by many admirers as affable, kind, and committed to common people rather than fame. Those who came into contact with him would have seen a leader who served before taking credit and listened before taking charge. His sincere desire to uplift people, empathy, and humility were the sources of his influence. Ultimately, King's character contributed to a legacy that went well beyond the civil rights movement. Dr. King made civil rights a worldwide human rights movement instead of just a single political battle. Later, global movements promoting equality, voting rights, economic fairness, and peaceful protests were influenced by his worldview. King's tactics of moral conviction and nonviolent resistance are still used by activists today to plan social change. As seen by the creation of Martin Luther King Jr. Day, a national holiday celebrating his efforts and serving as a reminder to future generations of his vision. His influence became ingrained in American civic identity. King's lasting impact demonstrates that inspiring others who may not have known the leader personally is more important than fleeting fame. Examining Dr. King's personality and enduring influence so inevitably prompts us to think about whether his life's work merits official acknowledgement with the award being given out tonight. Now, I'd like to welcome our next speaker to discuss the importance of this award and why Dr. King is genuinely worthy of receiving it.
Ladies and gentlemen, after reflecting on the character and lasting legacy of Martin Luther King Jr., it is only fitting that we formally recognize him with an award that represents the magnitude of his lifelong service to justice and equality. The Lifetime Achievement in Social Justice Award honors individuals whose work has fundamentally advanced human dignity and civil rights. It recognizes sustained leadership, moral courage, and measurable social impact. Recipients of similar global honors have included figures such as Nelson Mandela, whose leadership ended institutional oppression, and Mother Teresa, whose humanitarian service embodied compassion and selflessness. These individuals share qualities that transcend politics and geography, a commitment to human dignity, and the courage to act in service of others. To qualify for this award, a recipient must demonstrate lifelong dedication to equality, transformative influence, and a legacy that reaches beyond their own generation. Dr. King not only meets these qualifications, he defines them. Dr. King provided moral and national leadership during the civil rights movement, becoming the voice of a generation that demanded justice through peaceful means. His philosophy of nonviolent resistance inspired millions and directly influenced landmark legislation, including the Civil Rights Act and voting protections, that expanded democratic participation. At great personal risk, he faced arrests, threats, and violence, yet remained steadfast in his belief that justice must be achieved through love and peaceful action. His impact extended far beyond the United States. In 1964, he was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize, an international recognition of his efforts to advance human rights. Today, the movements for equality around the world continue to draw inspiration from his example. His words and actions reminds us that progress is possible when courage meets conviction. Dr. King's legacy is not confined to history books. It lives in the ongoing pursuit of fairness and opportunity for all people. His dream challenged societies to confront injustice and strive for a world where character matters more than circumstance. The principles he championed, nonviolence, equality, and human dignity, remain essential to addressing the challenges of our time. Because of his unwavering commitment to justice, equality, and peaceful change, Dr. King stands as the embodiment of lifetime achievement in social justice. His life answered the call to serve others, and this legacy continues to guide us towards a more just world. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we celebrate not only his accomplishments, but the enduring impact of his vision. Dr. King once asked, "What are you doing for others?" His life provides the answer: service, sacrifice, and unshakable belief in human potential. His dream reshaped a nation and continues to inspire generations. It is with great honor that we present the Lifetime Achievement in Social Justice Award to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., recognizing a legacy that will continue to inspire the pursuit of equality and human dignity for generations to come. Thank you.